That thing is just out of this world.
Yeah, I like how. Let's see what it was. Hey man, if you guys ain't looking in this, of course, Vision subscribers. If you guys ain't checking it out, them swing signals that we have, you guys need to get on them.
Shoot, I've been tagging people every day now.
Mm-hmm. SQQQ call the other day,
Oh, oh.
which is the opposite of like the spy and stuff. So when the spy runs down, it runs up. Um, and they threw a buy signal in there on SQQQ, price at 35.75. Target was 38. Cash didn't that hit same day that target?
It hit same day, not even like an hour after, and it went up to 45 after hours today.
Yeah, insane,
Like,
insane.
it was a beast.
And today we got. I didn't even see these today. I was pretty busy today, but Google got buy 26.50. Target 3,500. It's almost $1,000 run. Far out leap calls on that, you're good. Of course, it's big money, but here's another one. Microsoft buy, price 297.50. Target 350. Dude, on a couple contracts, that's huge. And
Yeah.
Facebook buy, price 307. Target 450. That's huge. And these are all.
SQQ like go through like a adjustment or something? Because like it was like $5 and something a couple weeks ago.
It jumped. That's how much the market has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll have to check, but when SPY drops 10%, that's considered a correction. Over 10%, can't think of the name, that it's considered at over 10%. Like depression, maybe? I don't know. Recession? Maybe?
Hold on.
Because I'm looking on the daily and I don't even see that price of like $5 and some change.
On SQQQ?
Yeah.
Let's see real quick.
Well, technically, the correction is a decline of 10% or greater.
Yeah, that's, well, I mean, come on.
So a bear market, an official bear market, is 20% or greater.
Yeah, I mean, SQQ hasn't been down to 5. Unless, are you talking about the swing signal?
No, I'm talking about just in general. The SQQ.
Oh no, it hasn't been down. It has.
Was like $5 and some change.
Yeah, the lowest it's been is 28, 29, somewhere around there.
Hold on.
The swing signal was for 35.75, basically 36 for the entry, and then 38 was the target.
Was
Like
it?
I would bet on my dog's life that it was like $5 and some change a couple weeks ago.
You might be thinking of a different one, though, huh?
That's what I don't understand.
You might be VXX maybe.
Oh no, you're thinking of I think the TQQ.
TQQ.
Yeah.
TQQ follows the
NASDAQ.
QQQ. It's just 3 times leverage.
Nazi.
I know that one was at $5. Which one? I know there's one. I know which one you're talking about.
VIX is down. VIX is down here around 8. I mean, it's had probably its share of 5 somewhere. But that's the lowest one I see is VIX. What's the Russell? I don't ever trade the Russell, so I don't know. IWM. Yeah, that's definitely not $5. That's all the small caps there. Which, you know, I wouldn't really mind throwing options on that. Trading options on that every day. IWM, because if it follows the small caps, it means it's got a lot of good volatility probably. Let me look at the 5-minute here for it. Yeah, not bad. I mean, good for today, I guess. Seeing how slow today was. Yeah, not bad. I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, IWM is probably going to be down most of the time because most of the small cap stuffs are garbage, biotechs, and don't even have a business really. They just, oh yeah, well we think we're gonna cure this. Invest your money so we can throw an offering out there. Anyway. So is anybody having any problems with what we've been going over the last couple weeks? I'm going to show you guys like why I keep the 1 minute chart kind of over to the left. And I watch the 1 minute chart. I do not trade based off of it, really, per se, kind of.
I want to understand how you can keep your chart clean enough to like not see 400 lines.
This was just kind of something I did today. I deleted all my lines, just to kind of pay attention to like the close over here, pre-market low. I thought I had pre-market high on here, but yeah, I usually have more lines than this, but not many. You might try, like, I've been going to the monthly and then the weekly, and I've been skipping the daily because I found that by the time I go through the monthly and the weekly, I typically have all the lines I need.
Hey, Dylan.
Yo.
SQQQ did actually drop to $6.21 on the 12th.
What?
It doesn't show up on TradingView.
Well, then it's not real, dude. It's not real.
No, it shows it.
It's not real.
I'm telling you, like,
okay.
Look at this thing.
Well, I'm not gonna look at it, but.
See, that's what I was wanting to.
That's crazy.
Like a couple weeks ago, I was thinking about buying some SQQ because it was like $5.30 a share.
Oh,
It's crazy.
I said that it did get that low, so they adjust it if it goes that low.
That makes sense because, I mean, the SPY keeps going up. That's supposed to keep going down if the SPY goes up, you know. So that's kind of manipulated.
That would have been a 4H return.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah, they probably wouldn't give it to you, though.
No, probably not.
It'd probably be considered like an offering type deal.
That's
Or not
what
an
I'm
offering, a split, sorry. Like a split type deal. Bunch of manipulating sons of bitches. Who's on the live here tonight? Who's on here? Okay. So, since you guys wanted to join and actually try to learn something new, Josh is going to be releasing kind of a beta deal for, if you guys haven't heard or seen, we're working on improving vision even further and adding some stuff and making the signals even better and yada yada, you know, typical stuff. But we're about to release part of it, which is just going to be like the toolbox pack thing that so auto trend lines, some auto lines that grab the previous day's high and low, the open and close, the pre-market high, the pre-market low, just like some toolbox stuff to go along with kind of what we've been going over the past few weeks to help everybody, you know, just not have to draw those lines, not have to do that extra step. Pretty cool.
Like it.
So a little sneak peek for everybody that actually took time out of their night to join us. You know, because the people that should be here aren't. You guys probably don't actually need to be here that much, but.
I mean, I can always do with more learning, so.
Same, dude. I'm like, if somebody could like teach me more, like I'm telling you, I think about this all the time. Like, if there was somebody out there with like an actual good course, like someone that I actually trusted and really thought that they knew what they were talking about, I would take it myself. Why? Because that person could have that one thing that takes me from X amount of percent profitability to freaking the moon percent profitability. Like my win-loss ratio, you know, just substantially grows just by that one thing. You know, and the rest of the stuff they talk about could be stuff I already know, but if they have that one little piece of information that I didn't know or that I didn't think about, is 100% worth it. But all the courses I see out there are fucking garbage. I swear they just copy each other. You're like, oh, this is how you draw some support resistance. And then here's what a higher low is and a lower high and this and that. Like, come on. quit copying each other and actually do something. You're 12 years old. You don't know nothing about trading, you know. Anyway, that's a rant for another day.
I will say, Investopedia does help too.
Oh, dude, I love that site.
Me too.
Love that site.
Check out a guy named Ty Cody. I don't think he has Facebook, but I think his Instagram. He's pretty good. He's one that taught me to trade crypto, and he's got a course that he does now, but he won't let me in it because the group that I was in kind of went separate ways on bad terms, and he won't let me in.
Well, send me a link to it.
Okay.
Because I definitely want to learn how to trade crypto. Because I have no there's support and resistance. Like it's technicals and stuff, but there's stuff to it that that I don't know. So
yeah, it's super similar to forex trading.
I might record it and share it with you guys. JK, kinda not.
To me, crypto really doesn't have like a real bias to it. It's just kind of does whatever the hell it wants.
Yeah, the past couple months, dude, it's been garbage. It's just flat. Because you need volatility in that sucker. Because especially with Bitcoin, you got to make up those damn fees. Other stuff, not bad, but.
And especially with some of these altcoins where you have to pay like $130 in gas fees just to get $100 worth of coin.
Yeah, or go download some sketchy broker.
Well, even then, I think that's why I'm not that big of don't get me wrong, I have crypto, I'll trade it, but I'm not as big of a fan because of those gas fees.
But
I can go on MT4.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, I could trade crypto on there.
But
I can't own it.
But the spread, that's the problem. The spread is your fees,
Yeah.
About this thing like that. I'll explain when I get off here. Did you gotta bring anything up? Where is it?
I can't tell if they're talking to us or not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's where I plan to trade my crypto cash is on our Cedar FX accounts with MT4. I mean, there's no point for me to go. I plan to open a KuCoin deal so I can start staking some, but trading wise, there's no point in me going to go with Coinbase for trading, day trading it, or scalping it. MT4 is just so quick, so fast, so easy. I'm already there.
Exactly.
I would like to have a separate account only for crypto. I don't know if I can do that though. Have two accounts, one for US 30,
actually.
NAS and oil and German 30 and stuff like that. But
Yeah, you can actually have more than one account.
hell yeah. I have to message the boys on Cedar. Figure out what I need to do because, man, I'm telling you, Cedar FX, for being a, what's it called, Cash?
Offshore?
No, I wouldn't consider them an offshore because they're just in a different country. But well, not sketchy because the dude, I'm telling you, I've IG Brokers, and Oanda. I've messaged both those companies, for support and stuff like that, and they got back to me, but it was a couple days later.
Yeah.
And with Cedar, you get on their live chat right there on their website, they're there, no matter what time.
What was the MFF that somebody was talking about the other day?
Oh, the
MFF.
Forex funds?
Oh, the funding deal. That's all cash. I don't know nothing about that.
Well, I haven't done it.
I know they're
yet.
collecting application fees, which is a good business to be in, and I wouldn't mind being in it. Yeah, put in your $500 application fee, and we'll think about funding your account. That one YouTuber, Cash, that Rhett used to follow a lot, Forex dude, the one that's all gang white boy.
Oh,
He's got something like that now, and it's literally $500 and something just to put in your application to see if they'll fund your account.
Well, MFF.
And I'm like, come on, bro. You guys are definitely just collecting application fees, which is brilliant. I'll agree, but it's kind of scammy.
Well, they'll give you your account. It doesn't, the process isn't, pay us and then we might give you an account. It's, just to ensure, and you get it back if you pass.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Well, that's okay then. But well, I mean, if you don't pass, then you kind of just, I mean, you know. How much did you say they were?
It honestly depends on the account size.
Oh, okay. So whatever you apply for.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could do, I think the 10,000 account was like 89 or something.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No. And then I think the 50,000 was like 299. Or was it?
Is
like
that 50,000 before leverage or 50,000 with leverage?
That's a $50,000 account. Like you
so
throw
with
50,000
leverage.
in an account.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that's 50,000 with leverage though.
Oh no, it's.
That's how much you can trade with. Right? Or no?
It's still a leveraged account like Cedar.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, you know, I could put 1,000 in there and I have 100 leverage, you know, then that makes my account really that much bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like they're putting in 50K in your account.
Hell yeah, let's go. That's honestly, I mean, it's a brilliant idea for both just application fees plus they're having people trade for them. I mean, they're literally having a around the world like hedge fund. I mean, honestly, you know.
That's basically what it is a giant.
Talk about working from home.
Yeah.
Like that's sick. I mean, I love the idea.
Dude, I'm talking about working at the beach.
This sun's gonna be too hard on your screen. You can't even see the fucking chart. I've thought about it, and I'm like, nah, it ain't good. It's not gonna be good. At nighttime though, let's go. I love the beach. I used to live in Pensacola, and I go back there like I would say at least 6 times a year, just to hang out, visit.
I'm in Vegas right now, so I mean, normal market hours are like 6:30 to 10:30.
10:30 at night?
Like,
oh yeah, well that's
I'm
Western time, huh?
Behind New York.
Man, that's probably nice, huh?
It is. I'm East Coast normal, so
you're not used to it.
all messed up.
Yeah, that would confuse me.
It's gonna suck when you get back home. Cash chatted up for a minute. My daughter wants me to buy Lord of the Rings for her on Prime Video.
Like Lord of the Rings? Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I got her hooked on The Hobbit. And I'm like, The Hobbit is supposed to be set before the Lord of the Rings. And she's like, Dad, I've seen Lord of the Rings. The guy, the wizard with the white hair, was a bad guy, and he had the huge tower. Like, I've seen it. Anyway, she wants me to go pay for it on Prime for her. I want to make sure she gets the best quality extended version one instead of just the basic one. I'll be right back.
Are you okay?
Chat it up.
Hey, Cash, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, it's Brad.
Hey, Brad. I see you got your microphone to work.
Yeah, figured it out when you guys were chatting about stuff I didn't understand, so I thought I would pull your muscle and try to figure it out.
There you go.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Another one. I'm glad you don't charge me the questions.
Yeah, man, I'd be rich.
No kidding. I see you on Facebook all the time, that Dutch, and you're always responding to people. I'm like, man, she is a busy woman. Hey, when Dylan comes back, do you think you guys could talk a little bit about those Fisher lines and like what they are and how you can read them and what they kind of mean and stuff? I know that you guys touched on it. I don't know if it was the last video or the video before, but
Yes, definitely. That's actually one of the things I wanted him to go over tonight, so that works perfectly.
okay, perfect. Yeah, right on.
Cause
I'm gonna shut my mic off before I say something dumb.
you're good.
I think these things are awesome, dude. I sit at work and I like, put some trend lines on. I've actually got like a lot of buddies that come up and what are those lines for?
Alright, Braylon, I got it on.
Some guy I've never met on the internet had to put them on there, so they're really weird.
Hey, that works. Yeah, I know. Sarah, she had some questions. She's not on tonight. I guess she may have went to bed, but she had some questions just about general other indicators like RSI, MACD, things like that, and incorporating it into what we've learned, and then like the Fisher transform. Because I myself need to actually sit down and learn that one. Because I got the line drawing down perfect. Like, I can do that with the back of my hand, and it looks gorgeous. But I'm like, I don't know what the heck the other thing is, and I don't know how to use it.
I'm exactly the same. Like, I feel like, just with some of those videos lately, we call them support and resistance lines on is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But like some of the guys that were on here, they were talking about the Fisher lines, and I think obviously their level of knowledge and investment is like way beyond mine. So they were talking at a level that I didn't really understand, and then they just kind of skipped through it, and I just even kind of just like thought to myself, all right, I need to ask about that later. Let's just learn what they're teaching tonight.
Well, I can definitely understand that. That's why I'm glad, Dylan actually goes through all of this, because I know when I first started, I didn't know anything. Like, I was bare bones, brand new to the market. Somebody said buy and I would buy. Somebody would say sell and I'd sell. And 90% of the time I'd lose money because I didn't know what I was doing. And I look back and I'm like, man, if I had known what I know now way back then, I could have saved a lot of money. It would have been nice.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. I was exactly the same, like just random things, and I always felt like, honestly, at work, like there was guys that, like in I think 2017 when around Christmas when crypto really started to take off, and I just felt like, I better buy some of this because I might get left behind. But I didn't know what I was doing, and I just kind of go.
I definitely feel you there. My husband and I, he's been investing for a little bit. He does dividends more than anything. And when the stock market died over COVID, like I asked him, I was like, hey, do you think we should throw some money in this or this? And we debated about it, but at the time, he had just lost his job, so we really didn't have the ability to throw money around. But man, I wish we did.
Yeah, I hear you. I think, probably a lot of people were in the same boat. I mean, perfect storm. If you just had a suitcase full of cash in the closet or something, then, right on. Not too many do, I guess.
Right. It's all right, though. We live and we learn, and we make money along the way.
Anyways, I really appreciate you, answering all my questions. And, when little things pop up, and I'm like, I'll just ask and see what that's about, and you're always there. Appreciate it a ton.
No problem. Y'all know I'm here.
I mean, to tell you the truth, just the other day I asked you, if like a stock's $1,000 and I buy it, and then it goes to 1,010 and I sell it, did I just make $10? Like it seems like I'm risking so much money to make $10. I really don't even know how to buy like a put or contract. Like I'm still kind of
just stick around, because trust me, Dylan is about to start live trading, and that's all he really does is options. Like he does stocks, but he focuses on options. And he's going to go over the process of buying calls, buying puts.
US 30.
And I'm telling you, options are life-changing.
Yeah, they're good for a small account too.
Look forward to it.
Oh yeah, so much better than stocks.
Yeah, I just thought like in my head, I'm like, if that's what I'm doing, you know what I mean? Like to risk $1,000 to make $10, I'm like, and then when you see people put on Facebook like their daily, like what they've made that day, and and I'm like, some people are, $300, $400, $500, or even $3,000, and I'm like, man, like in my head, I'm like, did they just throw down $100,000 or something to make that much money? When so I really do appreciate this.
Some people do. There are a couple in the group that do shares. I haven't heard from him in a little bit, but what's his name, Dylan? Big Money.
Who are you talking about?
The one guy that throws down like $100,000 with shares.
Oh, that's Bob Cheaps.
Yeah, Bob Cheaps.
Sass. Or our old Canadian buddy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's crazy, and he has so much faith and vision, and he's like, dude, I think he's the perfect example of just don't overdo it, because he a long time ago when we started Vision, he was one of the first subscribers, and he didn't know anything about trading. He's like, oh look, I want to swing trade. How would you do it? And I had him on a live like this, and I told him, like, you find something that first is in an uptrend, obviously, because on shares you really just want to primarily go long unless you have a broker that can go short, but then you got fees, blah blah blah, so it complicates things. So I told, like, obviously he wanted to go long. Hell, he probably didn't even know you could go short and make money on the way going down. So I told him, like, to find something uptrend here on FinViz. Showed him how to do the whole FinViz thing, how to find the screener and find the charts and everything. You find one of those. I typically like to stay with good names that I know, or products that I actually buy or that are in my house. And then when it comes down to this support, Vision gives you the buy signal. I think I told him, like, you could add in like an RSI and make sure RSI is, a good bit down in the oversold territory. And when it gives a signal, I mean, there's, like I've been showing here, there's only, when you get into a trade, have your stop set and have your take profit on there on the chart, and like leave it alone and let it work, because at that point there's only two things that can happen. You're either going to hit your stop, get stopped out, and it is what it is, that's part of it, or it's going to hit the target. That's the only two things, or that's really the only two things that should happen, but sometimes we close them early, but if you let the trade work, there's only two, and there's plenty of times where you should close it early if it's looking weak. Going to turn around on you, but
I don't want to cut Bob down. I'm also a Canadian. Now, was Bob trading $100,000 Canadian or $100,000 American? Because $100,000 Canadian is like $8 to you guys.
I'm not really sure, honestly.
It's not that much.
100,000 is, I would say, on the lowest side of what Bob's trading with.
Yeah, he's got.
He don't mess around. he slaps it.
He goes ham.
But he just keeps it so simple, and it works.
That's awesome, man.
And I guess
I'm one of those people that just trades shares. I don't understand options at all. So.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, dude. I mean, honestly, if you get your account big enough to where you can get to that, like a margin account, and not have that PDT restriction, you can make plenty of money on shares. I mean, you load up, it moves 4 or 5 cents, and you take profit, and that 4 or 5 cents is huge. But it's not going to be huge until you have that bigger account. That's the only thing that sucks about it.
Yeah.
So with options,
I'll usually make. Like I was up 800 on Tesla the other day, but I had my stop set really wide because I was trying to get more profit, because I've been getting stopped out, because if I see that $300 or $400 up, I'll tighten my stop up, and then I leave a lot of profit on the table. So but that's buying $20,000 worth of stock or something. So
I leave a lot on the table,
large amounts.
Trading Tesla as well. Like I take $200 or $300 profit, but I'm trying to build a cushion in this small account that I have right now, so I'm okay with it. But like last week, not this week, but last week, I think it was, after I sold, I looked at those same contracts at the end of the day, or towards the end of the day, at 1 or 2 o'clock, and they were up. I mean, one of them I bought it at like 2,600, and by like 1 or 2 o'clock it was at 7,800.
Yeah.
Like every day that week was the same thing. Like just thousands of dollars up from where I bought it. And I'm like, dude, this literally could have been over a $10,000 week for me if I would have held at least 1 hour later than I sold.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks.
I trade
but
Southwestern a lot because it's only got to move 5 or 10 cents for me to make a decent profit on it.
Hell yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's what I like doing. I like to go to the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And you start to build that. Okay, I know what, because it makes. I mean, honestly, typically they make the same pattern throughout the year.
Exactly.
You know, it might not.
I love a sideways market. Most people hate it.
Yeah.
I love something that just trades in a sideways channel.
If it's got enough room in there in the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it because I mean, Amazon is a perfect example of that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Amazon. Amazon, I mean, you want a sideways deal? It's been like that for like 3 years.
Really? I'll have to
Yeah,
check it
here,
out. I haven't looked at
I'll
it.
show you the daily.
Good
Are you
lord.
trading
Yeah.
options or shares?
On Amazon, options for sure. Options, see, okay, this is a good way to look at options. Options to me is like leverage on our Forex account.
Mm-hmm.
So we have $500, but we're leveraged up and we can trade like we have 5 or 10,000. So on options, a Tesla contract on a Monday or Tuesday cost me $2 or $3 grand, but I'm trading technically, 100 shares. Legally, that contract has to be worth what those 100 shares would be worth. So if the price goes up legally, the premium of that option has to go up. Of course, the theta and everything, has something to play, but Monday, Tuesday, you really don't. Sometimes Friday, if you're buying in the money, you ain't got to worry about it. I've seen some contracts today and last Friday that I was like, I typically don't like to trade same day expiration, but I only buy in the money now. And I looked at them like towards the end of the day, like, hey, we're about to close in 15 minutes. These things are still worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Yeah,
that's where you get into your spreads and you get that theta playing on your side.
That's why I only buy in the money now, and I only started that since I started this little $2,000 account. But it's been great. The premium holds its value. I mean, if you buy the first one in the money, you're the first one to get knocked out of the money. So I typically try to stay away from that one. But I look at the first like 3 to 5 in the money, see which one has the most open interest, keep it simple, and I buy that one. I used to buy at the money, which is technically the first one out of the money. But it's just, I mean, when those suckers drop in value, they die.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
And there goes the premium with it, Anyway, so Cash, so I heard somebody, I think it was Veteran Brad, saying he wanted to go over something specific.
The Fisher.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'll go over that.
Drop more.
Jeez, dude, Amazon is dead.
Look at it.
It's done blown past the range that I just said it was in.
The next support is 2,800 exactly, so it's $52 away.
Yeah, that was the range, bottom of the range that it was in. Yeah, $27.95.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We might see a blow past that and come back down to what is this? About 2,500.
If it does that, whoo-wee.
Yeah, the market's gonna be in a bad spot then. Let me go back to Tesla real quick. We'll go to 5 minute where I like to hang out, and double click the chart. Should bring up my Fisher. Get rid of the MACD and the RSI. I only watch those two on the 15 minute. I can confuse you a lot with what I look at with the Fisher, because there's a lot of things that the Fisher does, and it's like I keep finding new things that I can pay attention to with this thing. Like you see, let me try to circle this at the box. Not the whole thing. More specifically, that right there, which I can find a better spot. Give me a sec. And then, I mean, there's another spot right there, but here's a good spot right here. So I noticed that the Fisher will make inverse head and shoulder patterns and head and shoulder patterns. So like here's one shoulder, here's a head, here's another shoulder, and then it dies. Right? But if I move this box over here, there's an inverse head and shoulders. Shoulder, head, shoulder, to the moon. So that's kind of one thing that I noticed with the Fisher. The other thing is this thing straight up makes trends. Like you can take a trend line and just drop it through here, and this sucker makes a trend. Like you can see right here, it broke up out of this trend and then supported on that thing. And I don't think that's coincidence. Anyway, the Fisher by itself is a momentum indicator, just like the RSI. If it's up here towards the top, you're looking for, it's kind of, you're not looking for it because I don't want you just to use the Fisher for this. But that kind of gives a little extra confirmation of maybe a short position to come. And then when it's down here at the bottom, it's just the opposite. You're looking maybe for a long position. Let me make sure my mic is recording too. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, sorry guys. But yeah, that's the basic understanding of what the Fisher is. Now, when the lines cross, let me see if I can maybe, you know what, I'll just bring. So up here, like I said, we're looking for a short position. When the blue line goes underneath the orange line, that's telling us that the long momentum is dying off. And any of these indicators that show up at the bottom of your chart, what they're considered to be is a momentum oscillator. So it oscillates back and forth, and it shows you the momentum of either the buyers or the sellers. The MACD is the same thing, the RSI is the same thing, the stochastic's the same thing. It's a momentum oscillator. The Fisher is the best one that I have found. That, I mean, it's just, I mean, right on the money every damn time. And it's so smooth. Like, I'll bring up the stochastic that I used to use, that used to be my number one oscillator, and I'll bring it up real quick. I don't even know if I still have it in my favorites. Oh, I do. I'm surprised that it's still there. You see, it shows us the same thing, but it's very, very choppy. So it's easy to get confused on it, but it worked for me. But I always was looking for something that was so smooth like this, and I think it was Bobby, for Bobby, that introduced me to the Fisher, and I'm like, dude, I owe you, you know. So same thing though. I mean, I'll bring back up RSI, which I have no idea why they put this moving average in the RSI. I mean, they're just trying to confuse people over here. So you can go here and uncheck that box. It'll get rid of that moving average. But same deal, when RSI is up here towards 70 is kind of like the golden rule. 70 is your overbought and we're looking to go short. 30 down here is kind of the golden rule for oversold and we're looking to go long. But don't base your trades solely off of that. And then MACD is the same thing, but I only care about MACD on the 15 minute. And I'll show you why. Same thing with the Fisher. I mean, I watched the Fisher on the 5, the 1, whatever, but I'll show you kind of something interesting with the
But do you think it's a good idea to, like, instead of just trying to learn this all at once, you know, use the support and resistance lines and the VWAP and vision, of course, and then maybe like when you kind of get comfortable with that, like add the Fisher lines and things to figure them out? Or,
yeah, that's fine, because for me, support and resistance is first, VWAP is second, vision is third. And then, you know, to have a little oscillator on there showing you that the bears are dying off or the bulls are dying off just kind of gives that extra little piece. But I try to keep just as minimum as possible, because if you get too much, like I've done the whole, oh, well, let me try these Bollinger Bands. Let me try the fibs. And let me try this. And I mean, I'm not saying they don't work, but I am saying that too much shit on your screen will make you lose. So I when I first started trading US 30, I was doing great. I started with 1,000, got knocked down to 600. You know, first time ever trading it. I'm just kind of learning how it's moving. And I took the 600 to like 6,000 or 7,000 within the first couple weeks there, trading it pretty slow. And then I just had a losing streak just out of nowhere and I was like, man, what the hell is wrong? What the hell is wrong? Well, I sat back for a few days and kind of paid attention to what I was doing at first and what I was doing now. And I was switching back and forth between, you know, I was trading on the 5 or 15 minute, but then I was going to the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, this, that, to see, well, is the Fisher or the RSI or whatever doing this on this time frame, but on this time frame it's a whole different thing. It's telling me to go long here, but on this time frame it's telling me to go short. So I was jumping around too much, trying to I was just confusing myself with so many different things. And as soon as I stopped caring about most of them other time frames, I ramped that sucker back up and kept rolling that account. And in 2 months, it was at $18,000. And that's where this whole Discord kind of got started with US 30. We blame Rock. The Rock, he always posts in the Profit Shares channel. He was just posting profits every day. Well, I kept asking him, what the fuck is US 30, And so finally I asked him, he showed me, and I read a little bit more into it. Cash said, hey, good Forex accounts, Cedar FX. I jumped over there because they let you trade US 30. And, then everybody just started, man, what, what is that? And it's a really good thing, honestly. It's a really good place, I think, to learn how to trade. It's very fast, but there's other stuff that isn't as fast. But US 30 respects technicals like nobody's business. Don't trade it at 9:30, but other than that, it's very respectful to your lines if you have your lines in the right place. It respects trend lines very well. Like when a trend line breaks, like it breaks.
Look, can I ask, the numbers on the Fisher, do you pay attention to those dotted lines?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
Like, you could. But like Tesla here, like what's a common number that it likes to turn around, and then you're going to go to SPY, and then it's going to be a different number. So it's, I think, just confusing. Like, I understand that down here, probably going to be a long bias here soon, if everything else is telling me the same thing, and then up here, short bias,
Yep.
But let me go over real quick on the Fisher and the MACD why I really like the 15-minute when I'm kind of getting a feel for, like, I guess you could call it the sentiment for the day. Because you see, like, this Fisher line here, in the morning it was low, and so we moved it right on up with the price here. And when it got up here and started to turn around, it was very smooth transition on the 15-minute back into the close and right back down to close lower on the day. And this day is January 20th, so if we go over here to the 5-minute and we go back to the 20th here, you can see how many times we would have went long right here. Oh, it's at the bottom, let's go long. And not saying you couldn't have made money there, because we definitely could have made money there if you were fast and took your profits and you weren't holding for the moon. But that's a big if, because a lot of people aren't going to take profits that fast. So most people would probably got it like chopped up right there. And so here's like one of them trend lines I was telling you about, you can draw on the Fisher. So you see, because like I said, it's an oscillator, so it oscillates back and forth. Well, you've seen this smooth transition on the 15-minute, but here on the 5-minute, it's got to oscillate on the 5-minute 4 or 5 times just to make one oscillation on the 15-minute. So knowing that it's very smooth in its oscillation on the 15-minute, one oscillation in the 15-minute is going to equal like 5 or 6 or whatever oscillations on the 5-minute. So knowing that the 15-minute, like say it's here in the middle of the Fisher in this kind of area that it has in the middle, if it's right there and I'm in a short position in some puts or whatever it is, and I see that it really hasn't finished its cycle, and typically it completes its full cycle. It doesn't stop here in the middle and then turn back up. It can, but typically it doesn't. So if everything else is kind of lining up where, okay, it's breaking this support, maybe now it broke VWAP. Well, if it breaks VWAP, it's on like Donkey Kong, And so just adding those up and paying attention to what's the cycle like on the 15-minute is huge if you're day trading. It's different for swing trading, of course, but if you're day trading, you need to pay attention to the 15-minute. And really, I only pay attention to the 15-minute for my oscillators, because you see here on the MACD, same thing. I only really pay attention to the MACD on the 15-minute. I don't care about it on the 5. But when those lines cross, a lot of other buyers or sellers see that. And if they cross up here to the downside, and this is going this dark green color to the light green color, that's a bearish indication. And then if it goes this light green color to a dark red, that's really bearish indication. And then if these lines flip with all of that, then it's full on bear, you know. And there's also a lot of computers that buy when those lines cross. They buy on the candle after, whether it's upside or downside. And so just paying attention to the 15-minute oscillations has definitely helped me, one, stay in positions, and most importantly, two, stay out of positions. Because right here's another example. Let me just draw a box around it so everybody knows where we're talking about. And I'll turn down the transparency on that. Okay, so pre-market, the Fisher is up here, coming down, and now we're in the kind of sellers are weak territory. We're looking for a long position here, so we see it comes down to probably my support line that's a little off. Probably should be moved up a little bit, but so we're on a support. We come up here like this, and then the market opens. Didn't have a very great move, but there's definitely money to be made in there if you got in there fast enough. But quickly we oscillate to 15-minute right here, and then you pay attention to the MACD. The MACD is underneath the histogram. The histogram are these bars right here in the middle, and kind of if I put my cursor right there in the middle and kind of split the green and red bars where they oscillate back and forth, if it's below that, then it's typically the best opportunity to go long. But you have to find out, you know, you kind of have to kind of pick the bottom, you know, because like this spot right here, it can keep going down, you know. And so when it's really extended like this, I mean, it's kind of a good sign to go long. But and then if it's up here in the top, then you should kind of be looking for a short position. Like, again, don't base it solely on that. You don't ever want to base your trades solely on what any oscillator is telling you. But it just kind of adds in that little extra bit. But back to this, you see right here, the 15-minute oscillate, the Fisher is done. It's oscillated to the top. It's not very extended out the top at all, but you know, once those lines flip and it kind of shows us, hey, we're going down. The MACD here is going from dark green to light green, and these lines on the MACD start to pinch together. I'm just curious what Vision said here. So we can see a bear signal here. I'm sure VWAP's around there too, and kind of play with the settings a little bit. Okay, that stayed in the same area. And if we turn on the VWAP, see where it's at. The bear signal came through as everything's heading down, as the price started to break below VWAP there, and the MACD was heading down too. So again, this is one of them areas where you kind of have to be quick to take your profits, but I am pretty quick anyway, so I definitely don't ever recommend holding anything, because you don't, you know, there's never a guarantee that it's going to the moon. But here's a bull signal as it crosses through VWAP, and it pulls back to kind of test it again, and test this kind of area of support that I see here, and then it pops up for another run. You can look here on the Fisher that it turned right there, and I can almost bet that if I put a trend line kind of through here, there's a bunch of touches in there. So yeah, trend line, like I said, on the Fisher. So anyway,
what's the blue on the Fisher? There's can you explain the blue and the other color line? There's
the blue and the orange line.
Yeah, can you just say what you said about that again?
Yeah, it's just they're kind of just like kind of similar to a moving average line, but the blue line. Okay, so down here, I'll make it bigger too. So it's really similar to the stochastic. When that blue line crosses over the top of the orange line there, it signifies like a bullish momentum is coming in there, like a long momentum. And then when the blue line crosses underneath the orange line, it's kind of a signal of a bearish momentum. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, thank you. I'm just writing down, taking notes, and I wasn't able to write that one down.
You kind of have to kind of train your eyes a little bit to look at that blue line being over the orange line or under the orange line, but I would go like on TradingView and just kind of hit the replay mode and kind of just watch it, on the replay mode. Watch it go back and forth, see how it moves, see how it acts. Yeah, it's my favorite oscillator for sure. And real quick, let me bring back up the MACD so I can show you guys why I don't care for it really on the 5 minute. I mean, it doesn't mean I ignore it if it's on there, but typically I don't have it on there. I'll look at it on the 15 minute, and that's really all I care about. But it's just, it's so choppy, but if we jump back to the 15 minute and look at today, I imagine it was a bit smoother. Yeah, so it just kind of stuck down here and just rolled out all day. Anyway, Brad, does that kind of clear up some of the questions you had about the Fisher?
Yeah, for sure. I was telling Cash that I know you guys spoke about it the other night, but I just kind of, it didn't make a lot of sense to me, so I didn't want to try and spend a lot of time figuring it out while you guys were talking. But yeah, no, I get the Fisher line for sure. The one underneath it there is still new, but one thing at a time, right?
Yeah.
So the Fisher, you would say that you would kind of use that as like your fourth indicator.
Yeah, and I also like I said, I use it to kind of keep myself out of trades too. Because like I was showing here, this is just now going down, on the 15 minute here, and so if I look back at the 5 again, you can see that it was. Let's see, go back to the 20th here. There's definitely money to be made here off like a VWAP bounce or something, and the Fisher is down here at the bottom, and so we're like, hell yeah, let's go long. And like I said, there's money to be made here, but if we go back to the 15 minute and look at this, the 15 minute's just steady heading down, looks like it's rolling down a hill, just nice and smooth. And knowing that it has to cycle back and forth, doesn't have to do it right now, but knowing that it has to cycle back and forth, and it's already pointing down like it's ready to cycle back down to the downside here on the Fisher, I would stay out of a long position, and I would only look for a short position. And so knowing that I'm looking for a short position, my short position that I would be looking for is a breakthrough VWAP here. Because VWAP kind of, like you said, it's where a lot of people like to buy and sell from. And so just knowing that, if it breaks this, and Vision called the bear a little bit before it broke on this one, but a lot of times Vision will call it as it breaks that VWAP. And so if it's up above the upside, like the top of the VWAP, you typically want to consider it bullish, and if it's below it, you want to consider it bearish. But of course, it's kind of subjective because eventually it has to come back above the VWAP, someday or sometime, so it doesn't mean that it's going to stay bearish if it's below it, but just pay attention to, I would say, if you're day trading, pay attention to the cycle of the 15 minute with the Fisher and the MACD, but the Fisher is going to basically show you the same thing that the MACD and the RSI and everything is.
Right on. Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to kind of what I was wanting to show everybody tonight. Typically how I am day trading, there's all my lines that were saved the previous time. Typically how, let me just delete those lines so we got a kind of clear chart here. How I day trade Tesla is I have the 5 minute over here on the right. I'll have another tab open with the 15 minute just so I can easily click over to it real quick. But no, damn it, I meant to change that for the other one here. Okay, that one's on the 5. This one's on the 1 minute. And so I'll have these kind of side by side. And the reason being is because on. What's up?
For the VWAP, you use the
standard VWAP.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you're not,
and then
like,
you uncheck the bands.
Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, uncheck the bands, but like real quick, with I know a lot of people like to change the length and everything on the RSI. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't change anything with a built-in indicator because You're putting that indicator on your chart because you want to see what other people on the other side of the screen are seeing as well. So you all can buy and sell at the same time. And you kind of have backup in your trade. If you don't see what they see at the same time, then you're kind of just trading by yourself, and good luck with that. So that's why I always tell people, like, when you have a built-in indicator, MACD, stochastic, Fisher, RSI, anything like that, especially VWAP, you want to leave it the hell alone. Anyway, so 1 minute on the left, 5 minutes on the right. The reason I have the 1 minute, as you guys know, I typically don't recommend trading the 1 minute, but I have it over here with no signals on it because the 1 minute is very, very well at showing like a trend for just the day, not something that you're going to see on the 15 minute or the hourly or the 4 hour or the daily, but just for the day. And so I watch it because as soon as the sucker breaks this trend, I know it's a trend break. And so now we can trade based off of that. And so if we turn on vision over here on the right, not sure what setting we're on here, Scalper 1. Yeah, it was a pretty bad day, so it might be a little skewed, but play with the settings here. Probably Scalper 2 is going to be our best bet since today was so kind of weird. But you can see Vision told us that there's a bunch of buyers coming in right here. Let me see if I can mark the chart, and let me see if it will mark both sides. You can see where my crosshairs are, at least, right? My crosshair on both charts. Do you see where that is? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
The buyers come in as it breaks my trend line. Typically Vision won't be so kind of skewed like this, like it is today, but it was just such a weird day because it was just dead. The market was completely dead.
Today was just ugh.
Yeah, it was just dead. I'm surprised it held up as well as it did, honestly. But the buyers came in as soon as we broke that trend line. And so that's what I'm watching for on the 1 minute. And the Ray tool, I believe it is. Let me check just to make sure here. Yeah, the Ray tool kind of has two dots on a line through it. I use that typically to do my trend lines because I can take 1 point, you select your first point, and then you select like another point. And it can be anywhere you want, and it just shoots a line to the infinite end of the chart. And so it'll just keep going, and so you can watch that trend line. And when that sucker breaks right here, you can see the Vision already had a bear signal on it. Right there. Vision had a bear signal before it broke the trend line on the 5 minute. But here on the 1 minute, we can see, okay, well, I can see why Vision called the bear signal, right? Makes sense. And it died. So we see this is a trend break on the 1 minute. We get a bear signal prior to the trend break. And let me just pull up on here. See, here's one of the times where like the Fisher is down deep on the 1 minute. Let's look at it on the 5 minute. It's up here in the top, pretty close. It's already started to work its way down. Let me just swap this to the 15 minute. Let me see where it's at on the Fisher. So yeah, this thing started. The Fisher was up here at the top and started to head down way over here on the 15. So yeah, that's what I do with the 1 minute. And then as the day goes on, just kind of look through here, and we'll grab another one, and we'll just shoot it off down through there, and just watch. And there's, I mean, you see what I mean by, like, let me change the right side back to the 5 real quick. On the 5 minute, you can't see these, you know? On the 5 minute, you can't really see these trend lines, at least this easy. You know, on the 1 minute, they're just plain as day, for me anyway. And you can shoot this kind of through here. And so here's another trend break right here. And then it came back, but plenty of money in here. And then it came back, tried to get above it, test it, and failed it again. So you could have basically had 2 trades in a row right there with just some mean profit on it. In my truck. And you can see that we're down here below the VWAP. So having a short kind of bearish bias would be a good thing. And we see the trend line, we see the trend line, we see the trend line, and we're just waiting for it to break. Just wait for it to break, wait for it to break. And as soon as it breaks, we take your entry. But I'll kind of go through, I'll make, let's see, I think if I hit this bottom and button on the right, yeah. I'll just kind of go through here just to show you guys some more examples. Let's hit kind of right in there. It's a little off, but hopefully you guys can see where it's at. Here's like another area right in there. So come down, break above it, tries to come back, supports on it, and jumps off that way. And then I'll delete those two. We might even be able to extend this further. Kind of seeing through here, maybe. Yeah, close. Turn the VWAP off so we don't get confused. So another area right here breaks that trend line, and you get short, and then just fades off into the close. I tried to make another one right here. Blah 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 blah. So here is the break, and if you waited for a retest for confirmation before you got into a position, there's the test. Couldn't break back into it or above it, and so they just sold it. Anyway, so this is exactly why I have the 1 minute. You can even take that one a little further. Probably go like that too. Just kind of gives you some context. You can just grab 2 points if you want to, you know. Just a couple points and just see if it kind of plays on your line. You might have to adjust it, move it around a little bit, but
you put those lines on like, excuse me, like right at the beginning, like you start putting them on, say like half hour after open.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you see something, absolutely. If you see something kind of setting up, even in pre-market, you know, sometimes you can see something setting up in pre-market or something. If it's there, then slap a line on it, or even if you think it's there, you know. And then as the time starts playing out through the day, if it's there, or even like if you have to move it a little bit, you know, on one side or whatever, but you definitely see it now because there's a little bit more candles on the chart, then you just adjust it and be like, damn, hell yeah, I've seen that thing. You know, so here's another.
Yeah, I'm constantly moving and adjusting and drawing more trend lines and extending them as the day goes on. Constantly moving.
It's kind of what it takes, you know. I try not to do too many lines, but it's good to have. That's why I really like having the 1 minute too, because I delete every other line on the 1 minute chart, and I only focus on trying to find those trends that are setting up on the 1 minute. Like here, ignore.
Yeah, no, I'm constantly wanting to delete some of them, but then sometimes the price comes back and retests it if you leave it there. So I have a hard time deleting them, and then it does start to get cluttered. But I want to delete them.
Let me see.
If I know that they're not in play anymore for sure, then I delete them.
Yeah, let me see if I can find an area on US 30 on 15 minutes really bad about it. Like I tell people, like, keep your trend lines on there for a few weeks. This is the 1 minute, but you can see here's another setup here, you know, test, and then break through, and then look at that huge short position there. I mean, let's just measure this. That's 373 points on a 0.1 lot, which is typically what I trade on US 30. That's $3,700. That's probably not even the whole move. Yeah, I mean it just you know, and you've seen that short coming, Cash. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Easy money. You know, if you have that trend line, you see it coming, and you just that's where your entry is. The whole drop. Could have had it, Cash. Could have had it. Why is my budget tool?
Yeah, I gotta refund it.
That's funny.
Took out everything. Remember?
Yep.
Moving takes money.
Well, I'm just saying. Like if you had money in there and you trading.
Oh yeah.
Throw the like simple, just put a trend line on there just in case it tested again, and you're right. Now when it breaks that damn trend line, it's an easy call. Not an option call, but an easy call to get a short position on it.
Yeah.
And hell, I mean.
So how many points do you like to use for a trend line?
It doesn't matter. Like at least 2, obviously, because you have to have 2. But the market's kind of random, so there's never going to be a specific amount. It's just basically what I look for is, does it make sense to me? If I put this trend line here, does it make sense to me to put the trend line? Like, am I seeing it act like everybody else has a trend line here? And if so, then I put a line there. Even if everybody else ain't seeing it.
So that first little dip down is not really part of what you're looking for as the trend line goes.
Well, this US 30, you have to kind of get used to this. And a lot of stocks too. This is kind of just, it looks like it was right here at market open. When at 9:30 with US 30, it's a dangerous time to be trading US 30. And
that dip there, man, if I could answer, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That dip there to me is still part of the previous downtrend. So I wouldn't include that on my uptrend trend line.
Yeah. Well, we're on the 1 minute, so it's going to be really, really volatile, but on US 30 it'll look very, very similar to this almost on every one of your trend lines. There's going to be a little poke through. The buyers buy it back up, but what I pay attention to is everything that's kind of hitting right here, before I draw my line. And so I just kind of ignore this, as a little, there's a bunch of sellers there, or a bunch of people that are taking profit or whatever, because at 9:30, I'm sure a bunch of people got in here, got short, and down here but there's 350 points almost right there. That's huge. Man, US 30, if you've never traded it, 350 points is massive. Especially, with a lot of people that are trading US 30, they're trading big size, like a 1 lot, maybe more. I mean, that's $34,000 on just one position, 1 lot. But yeah, I just look at the most, what makes the most sense. It wouldn't make sense for me to take my line and start it maybe just right here. That doesn't make sense to me. No, it's like, oh well, where do I put it? But if I kind of look through here, it does make sense. And as soon as you get that line, and it's like, even if you haven't placed, the other end of your line, and you see, like, you're just moving it around, and you see all those points line up on your line, you're like, there it is. I just died all day. But let me go to 15 minutes. 15 minute, like I was saying, like, if you have a trend line set on the 15 minute or whatever, I usually, like on US 30, I leave them on there for at least a few days, at least. Because, like, if this is over here somewhere and it's shooting off in the chart, if it's a pretty main trend line, especially if you can see it on the 4 hour, the 1 hour, or the daily chart too.
Somebody got the microphone on, banging stuff around, or what?
Can't see. Yeah, I think so. Maybe that help. Anyway, this isn't a real trend line, but if it's a main trend line or something, like, from the daily chart or 4 hour or hourly, I leave it on there because it will come into play again. Like if this was a real trend line and then price came back up next week and came up here, it would guaranteed play off that same line. US 30 is really common about that. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show everybody tonight, was just that why I watched the 1 minute, because some people were kind of curious about why I watched the 1 minute but I don't trade it. And some people are like, well, you don't use trend lines anymore? I know, absolutely I do. I don't care as much about the daily chart trend lines anymore. I mean, if it's there, I'll pay attention to them. But if it's not, like Apple, you definitely want to pay attention to the trend that it had. I don't know if it's still in it. I haven't looked at it in a couple weeks, but anyway, what was somebody saying? Sorry, I interrupted you.
Hey, so I just wanted to ask, like, you typically, when you're day trading, you're typically on the 15-minute candle?
No.
Oh.
If I'm day trading US 30, yes, I'll be on the 5 or the 15. But if I'm on Tesla or trading stocks or options, whatever, I trade on the 5. But I look at the 1 and the 15. I look at the 15 for where are those momentum oscillators kind of oscillating, where are they at right now, and then I look at the 1 for the trend lines.
Okay. And just this might sound stupid, but when you put in your support and your resistance lines, and like you talked about before on the candle, like you put the four lines basically per candle, on the open, the close, and the high and the low, and you do that on the monthly and the weekly. Do you ever take those lines off? Like, like obviously next week there's going to be a new high and a low, and do you just add more lines for that week, and then take like the 2 lines off that were, the furthest candle away from today? Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I kind of get funky with Tesla because I'm like, I like to redo them every now and then, like maybe once or twice a week, just to redo them. There's no specific reason. I'm like, well, I don't like that one where it's at, so I'll delete them and go do the whole chart again. But honestly, if it's something that is in an area that has had price there before, typically it will always play off the same lines. Now, if it's in new territory, like all-time highs, blue skies, nothing above it, no resistance, nothing, never been there before, yeah, you definitely want to go in and mark out kind of where it topped out at, where was the high, where was the close, where was the low, where was the open. If you don't already have them, yes. But yeah, if it's been there before, typically you don't have to touch it. I'll go back to Tesla real quick, and I kind of showed this. I think I talked about it in one of the videos I put on YouTube recently. Like if you pay attention to where in the after hours where it kind of fizzled out every day, and it's like it hits a support, right? So if I put a line there, and let's just go to the daily chart real quick, it almost always finds a support to go to sleep at night. You see in here, there's a bunch of support right here. Almost always. And go to the monthly. Kind of nothing over here except right there, but let's go to the weekly and see. Yeah, so see kind of down in here, it's been here before. And that's a place where I would have already had a line. So, it typically does that, I notice anyway, like every night in after hours on everything, every stock I've noticed anyway. So it just kind of tells me that if it's already been there before, it's just going to keep finding the same support resistances, because the people that are trading it every day, that's what they're trading based on. They're trading based on those support and resistance levels. And the reason they become support and resistance levels over and over again, it's kind of like fib levels. Like the Fibonacci retracement stuff, like, oh, it's Fibonacci, so I expect it to come down to here, or I expect it to retrace to here, or I expect it to, stop here and take off. If enough people are watching those Fibonacci levels, then yeah, it's gonna do exactly what they thought it was gonna do, because it's a theory or a hypothesis that comes true because enough people are thinking the same thing. Does that make sense? I try to explain it the best way. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. I've always just kind of thought that the market was absolutely random.
No, hell no.
You know?
I mean, there's some things about it, sure. Like it's not going to do today what it did yesterday, So I'm sure some stuff about it is random, but as far as trading goes, like Tesla here, if enough people are like, okay, well, if it comes down here and finds support on 900 again, we're going to buy the shit out of it, because the last time it came down here to 900, which is this big support over here that comes through here, I'll just put a line, or I'll just put a box because that'll be easier to see. Last time it come here, I was actually pretty pissed off because I missed it. I missed taking this big ass swing that ran over $300 and something to the upside here, because I was looking like this. I was like, cool, okay, and this part wasn't here. So ignore that. And actually, in fact, we'll just do this. This is what it looked like, and I didn't have a line right here because I didn't look far enough over here to the left. But enough people did, and they seen it, and then enough people see that and they're like, hey, we're gonna go long here at 900. Then it becomes a real level. It becomes real. It's not just, hey, it's a $900 level, cool. But enough people see it, enough people are like, hey, I'm gonna buy it there. Then it becomes, that's where it reverses. There's a better way to put it, and I've heard people say it before, but I can't think of the way they put it. Cash, do you remember the saying for that?
I'm trying. Like, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I can't.
I do see a gap though that needs to be filled.
It did. Well, it kind of technically filled it today, right here.
No.
Which one?
The one go down just a little bit.
Down?
Yeah. No, don't zoom out. Go down. No, up. Like around. Let's see, where's that point at? Ah! Don't do that. Right below 850.
Right below 850.
Around
right
October 18th. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty small gap.
Still a gap.
I don't know if people care about that one. We'll see, though. I mean, it could. Because, I mean,
it always goes back.
If we take a trend line and kind of poke it through here, it's a little bit off. Hang on, let me redo that one. If we take a trend line and put it through here, I mean, it could easily get down this way if it comes down to touch this trend line again.
I mean, with Tesla, that's not that far away.
No.
$1,000 per contract to fill that gap, I bet you.
Yeah, it could definitely happen. Because right now, I mean, if it continues this kind of trend line that it has up here, which honestly, if we wanted to look at it this way, this could turn into a downtrend.
Yeah.
Because this, to me, this could have been the breakout kind of test of that downtrend. And then now it's back in the range and starting to chop around, but it could easily. No. And continue down until.
Oh man, if it got all the way back down there,
I'm buying the shit out of that.
Let me throw some money on.
I absolutely will. Yeah, if it gets down, dude, if it gets under 800, I'm buying some as far out calls as I possibly can.
Oh yeah.
I'm selling grandma's house and I'm throwing all the money in there.
I mean, it filled that one gap today.
Oh yeah.
So
Prim called that one.
I think it's gonna go and fill that one sometime soon.
Yep.
Are you still thinking around the middle of February you might do some live trading?
Yeah, middle to end. I don't know if you were here in the beginning, but I was telling everybody how I got my Mac Mini in today, which is going to be my like dedicated live streaming computer, and
Yeah, I
my
was here.
49-inch screen.
I know you described your house, and I think my wife. It sounds like it's like her dream house. So
Yeah, it's
I had to put you.
old
It is
Victorian.
gorgeous.
I had to put you on mute
Oh,
so
you're
she
good.
couldn't hear.
It's an old Victorian house. It'll look better when it's not freaking yellow. I don't know who the hell painted it that color. Baby puke green.
I think earlier today there was a lady that was on here talking about like just buying shares, and to me she sounded like she was Australian, and that's
Sarah?
My wife is from Australia.
Hell yeah.
And they have like her mom and dad have this sort of they call it, she's from North Queensland. They have like a Queenslander, and she's always like kind of, you know, thinks it would be nice, and she thinks like those sort of old farmhouse style with like the wraparound veranda. Basically, exactly what you described is like her North American dream home, you know?
Oh yeah, I love it. You can't find houses that look like that anymore.
Can't build them either, you know? Nobody's interested in building this.
See if I can find a picture of it to post real quick in the general chat. There we go. I posted it in the general chat there. I think that was shortly after we bought it.
No, man, I'll have a look at her. Do you think there's anything else you're gonna go over then tonight?
That was mainly it for tonight. Unless anybody just had any questions that they wanted to ask. There was supposed to be another Sarah here, but
Dylan, is that the house that you just got?
yeah, earlier this year. I didn't just get it, but like March maybe.
That's impressive.
Thank you. It's built in 1902-3.
Wow.
At least it'll be better when it's not painted, like not yellow and green. It was it's in the town that my wife grew up in, and it was her like dream house. And she just walked up to the people that were living there, and she's like, "Hey, you guys want to sell it?" I got it for a steal. They paid like $175 for it the year before, 2 years before we bought it. And they wanted out of there or whatever for whatever reason. And so I was like, will you take 80,000, you know? She's like, well, or no, I said 75, and she said, will you go 80, you know? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of a little high, you know? I was like, whatever, it's only $5,000. I was like, yeah, I'll do it, but that's it.
You're the perfect husband.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it. See where the porch the porch kind of curves there on the right hand side and wraps around? That's where my office is, and that's where the 49-inch curved screen will be on the other side of that wall. I love it though, because I hate houses that have like 8-foot ceilings, and that has 12-foot ceilings all throughout it. So I was happy about that, because I'm like 6'4", so I hate feeling like I'm like just in a cave or a cage or something.
Hey Dylan, can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
Just real quick, like you know, I'm kind of new to Vision. I've spoken to Cash online a million times, asked her a million questions. Like, are you interested in all, like kind of talking about yourself a little bit and like how you kind of got started and your background in this? You know, like how, like your experience and that kind of thing, or
maybe another night.
Or would you?
That's gonna be a long one. Short story, like just I've never been the person to work for somebody else, you know, and I'm like, you gotta find some way to make some money, and I just always my grandpa invested in stocks like forever, and so growing up, I always heard about him. You know, he's never hurting and everything. My mom's like, well, grandpa, grandpa. And so I kind of just early, like, I was probably like 12 maybe when I first asked him like what it was and stuff. And I remember he used to always record like the DVR deal, on the VHS tapes. He would record the news part of the section of the news about the market, and he would always watch them back when he got home from doing whatever he was doing. But yeah, I don't know, like I guess just got tired of working for somebody else and decided, stop playing around with it and just kind of fiddle like here and there and just stare at the charts all day and all night until it started to make sense, which I've always been able to kind of look at them and easily see like patterns and stuff in them, but I don't know what that's from. Maybe it's because I'm a welder by trade and stuff, fabricator, so it's easy for me to see patterns. I'm not sure, but I do think that if you stare at them long enough, no matter who it is, like I tell people all the time, like one day you'll wake up and it just clicks. But the key is, I think, is the amount of screen time that you get. Like I said earlier, like the people that should be here are not here with us tonight, but they should be. You guys, the people that are here tonight, probably don't need to be here. I've seen the same names in here almost every time I go live here at night.
Oh man, I need to be in here, trust me.
No, I feel you. I mean, like,
yeah, me too, man.
If somebody was in here,
learning,
like when Prim did that live the other night, like I definitely wanted and needed to see that. That was an awesome deal he did the other night, but there's always room to improve,
Yeah,
I think for me, where a lot of things changed for me, drawing trend lines. Open up a chart.
Yep.
Put it on the 5 minutes. Start drawing lines. Like go to another chart. Trend lines.
Yep,
like
absolutely.
your support and resistance lines. I've been practicing that recently since you've been going over that, and that's helped a lot too. But trend lines are the number one thing for me that was kind of my turning.
Gotta have trend lines. I think it's a must.
So for you guys asking questions about that and stuff, that's what I would say. Just when it's outside of regular market hours, after supper or whatever.
Study time.
Sit down in front of the computer, open up a chart on TradingView, and just start drawing trend lines and pull them across, and see where they line up, like Dylan was showing. Practice that, and it'll come to you, and then you'll be able to see those trends before you even draw the lines.
That's awesome. That's like the perfect answer. I was worried all you guys would say, spent 6 years getting a master's degree in finance or something.
No, dude. No, to be honest with you, I dropped out of high school on my 16th birthday. I said, see you guys fucking later. You ain't telling me what to do no more. I'm out. And then I went and got my GED and then jumped into welding school. And then, like most welders, in fact, I'd say probably 99% of welders, as soon as you learn how to weld good enough, you leave welding school because it's time to go get some money.
Yeah, man.
So don't think you need to be some super genius.
That's good, because I definitely don't tick that box.
Well, I think...
No, you definitely don't. The guy that taught me to trade crypto, he was only out of prison a few years, and he's a millionaire now.
Hell yeah. I like to see people change their lives. You really, it's... I think the dumber you keep it, the better off you honestly are. Because like all I do, I got the trend lines, I got support and resistance from the monthly and weekly mainly, and then I look at where pre-market opened, or where the high and low is for pre-market, and the previous day high, low, open and close. And then you got the Fisher, but other than that, you got people out there with Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci, like all this, they've got like 30 indicators on their chart. You can't even see the candlesticks anymore. And they're wondering why they're losing money.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So for me, because I don't really do intraday trading or anything, I just pretty much swing trade. I was taught not to really look at 5 minute or 1 minute, keep it like 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because it kind of goes back to that like losing streak I had on US 30. You start looking at too much stuff, you're going to see too many things, saying too many things, you know, kind of conflicting each other. Yeah, that's the way. Like, I'm not a big swing trader, but you know, that's the way I would personally do it. Is I would look at it on the daily, the 4 hour, maybe the 1 hour, but my entry would probably be on the 15 minute.
Okay, that's what I've been doing. Then I just want to make sure you agreed with that. Thanks.
For sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I mean, it's just like this zone right here. You know, at that 900 level on Tesla that I was upset that I missed. You know, like you would see this if you weren't me, and you look back over here and seeing that, hey, that's probably the area it's going to bounce from. And so when you see the buyers come in here on the 15 minute, you jump in there with them. And then, of course, you decide how long you're going to hold. But yeah, this is like kind of when you're new to Vision, Brad, don't do the stupid thing and be like, oh, every signal is going to be a winner. Because, I mean, honestly, who thinks if Vision could be 100% accurate and just print out bangers all the time like that, we would get shut down. I mean, come on. Nobody would let us do that. But pay attention to the signals that show up at your either trend lines, at your support and resistance lines. Those are the signals I care about. And of course VWAP if you're day trading. But like if you paid attention to the signals here that bump this trend line or that cross through it, you know, over here, you would have been in a pretty good spot. Pretty good spot. And there was a bull signal here, you know, where we put that trend line here and another one here at that horizontal support level. Man, I'm so mad I missed that.
It looks like she might be coming down to test it again this year.
If it touches it again, it's going through it. I guarantee it. I don't see. I mean, it. Well, you know, I could see it coming down, and touching off on it, and then coming back up here to maybe about this level, and that would put up a head and shoulders, which is bearish. So here would be. Let me mute that real quick. Here would be kind of one shoulder, head, and then another shoulder. I'm not a big trend or a pattern guy because, again, it just kind of adds stuff in. But if it's there and it's clear as day, sure. But a lot of people go looking for head and shoulders and cup and handles and stuff on like a 1 minute chart, and it's like, it's not really where you want to look at it. Look for them, you know. But anyway, I could see it doing that though.
I'm liking that gap. It's a $7 gap.
Yeah. I'd say we're heading down in the whole market.
Timber.
Yeah, dude, it's dead. Come
on. I know Cash saw last night. I posted one of the rooms in were Netflix. Did you happen to see Netflix yesterday aftermarket?
Oh man, Netflix got slaughtered.
Why?
Have a look at that. If you haven't seen it, have a look at it.
Why
just look at that drop.
Why is it getting smacked? Oh shit! You mean that candle? I didn't even notice this candle down here. I'm all looking like, oh, price is right here. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that candle way down there.
I mean, I see
$100 aftermarket close.
I see why it got smacked. I mean, if you look through here, there was a major trend line through here, and it just busted straight through it.
They had.
I guarantee there was a bunch of stops right here. I guarantee there was a ton of stops right there, waiting for that thing.
They had earnings, and it was bad because you know everybody's gone back to work, and so people canceled their subscriptions.
I mean, it makes
sense. Yeah.
And so under normal circumstances, I would think that maybe that might fill that gap coming back up. But right now, the way the market is right now, I just don't see that happening at all. What do you think it's going to continue going down from here or what?
To me, that's a fucking buying opportunity. absolutely buying opportunity. I mean, if I was gonna buy it there though, I would just take one size and see what it does tomorrow, and then judge to see, you know, do I want to take another position in it, like, and just kind of accumulate it. Like Sarah said, she was a swing trader. That's, I mean, yeah, I know you're not into options or anything, but I would look at that because it's at that spot right now where it would look to turn around. When did it die? Today?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, right after market close.
Like, that's the spot. When you see a sharp drop like this, you see it all the time during the day, like 1 minute, 5 minute charts. When you see a big, steep, massive candle like this, I mean, it's typically always just going to shoot right back. You know, even if it continues to trickle down, like, it's always going to, you know, there's going to be a bunch of people that buy the shit out of it right there. And knowing if that happened after hours.
Imagine you overnighted 2 puts.
Sheesh.
Rowdy Killer actually had some puts on this thing. He made like, I think it was up $7,000 last I looked.
But he can't execute them in after hours. Huh?
Oh no, that was earlier today.
Oh, okay. Should have held in.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still in them or not, but he's banking either way.
Yeah, that's, I mean, it's a good buying opportunity in my opinion. I mean, you know, it's just so steep that I don't think that's going to hold for sure. I'd say come Monday, I mean, shit, I'm probably going to be a buyer on it if the long, you know, maybe a couple months out calls are cheap and it holds that level. If it holds that level right there, let's call it 386. If it holds 386 and doesn't go lower than that, I'm definitely a buyer on that.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out to you because I didn't see a comment on my post about that.
Yeah, so I was gone all day. I was running around. Here's another thing to look at right here. Look at exactly where it stopped. You know, you have this trend line and you have that support line all in the same spot. So that just tells me, like,
we could all be keeping our eye on that for sure.
I'm throwing grandma's house at this one.
Sorry.
Thanks for whoever showed me Netflix.
That's Trading Jason. You're welcome, brother. That's why I'm here.
Hey, post something. Dude, actually, you're always posting in the community watch list, huh?
I try, man.
I need to make you just a normal watch lister so you can post them in the big watch list.
I can make them watch.
Oh, you want to do it? You want to use some special powers, Cash?
No, use my powers.
Go ahead.
I don't get to use them enough.
Go on with your bad self.
Yeah, I'm not the type to sit here and snicker to myself and make all the money without sharing my ideas with people. You know, that's where we're all a group, right? That's what we're here for.
I can screenshot this and send it to you if you want, so you don't have to do it.
My charts are Netflix is one of my top 5 that I have charted at all times.
Hell yeah. Yeah, good spot on that.
Damn.
That's why I said under normal circumstances I'd be looking for calls here, but I'm just not ready to right now because the whole market's on fire right now. Just dying. So
I mean,
I want to wait and see what happens.
Watch the news over the weekend. If there's nothing really bad, most of the market shakes off COVID stuff now. So, I mean, they'll probably have a new variant next week.
Oh no, they're worried about the war with Russia and Ukraine now.
Yeah, right now it's the whole.
What everybody heard about.
Here we go. Yeah, so I mean, it might keep going down, but I'd watch that 386 level. If it holds that, you know, it's definitely a call opportunity.
Would you buy that or like sell it in after hours or pre-market if you saw like a good opportunity?
Well, I can't buy or sell options pre-market or after hours.
I wish we could.
But yeah, if it holds it by, you know, I don't like to get into the market open, you know, so I try to stay about 10 or 15 minutes away after the open, so probably about 9:45 New York time. I look to start trading. So if it holds it, especially in the market open, if it holds it pre-market and market open, like if it's going to break it, if it's going to break that 386, it's going to be at market open because that's where all the volatility is. That's where all the buyers and sellers are most of the day. They're all there at the market open. So if it holds it there at market open and in pre-market, yeah, I'll probably look to get at least one call on it. Even if I'm going to get rid of it same day and not swing it. Yeah, shares, you're pretty safe on it. Like Netflix is not going anywhere. So if I bought one share here and it wanted to dip down lower, okay, cool. Buy another one. And buy another one. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend averaging in or averaging down on a penny stock or any biotech or any junk stock like that, but just look at the name, look at the company, and say, okay, well, is this company like GameStop that I don't even know why is in business still? Like they literally, like all the game platforms, you buy your games through the game platform. You don't even go to GameStop anymore. So why are they still in business? Look at Netflix. Like Netflix ain't going anywhere. Wait till it gets something else happens or everybody gets a couple paychecks after going back to work from this COVID stuff, and they're gonna be right back into Netflix. I'm actually surprised that it dropped that low. That's crazy. But I said earlier, I think today, that if anybody at this time, and this, like how bad the market is right now, if anybody got a bad earnings report, I think I said this to you earlier, Cash, in our private chat.
Yes.
Then it would be detrimental for the company, like for the stock. Like if they, at this time, how bad the market is, if they put out a bad earnings, it's going down hard.
Their earnings report was only, I think, $150,000 below target.
That's stupid.
Or something like that.
Absolutely ignorant.
It's not much.
No, and people are freaking out about that. Come on.
I know, man.
But that's how it is every time. Like you're like, yeah, the earnings is good, It could be excellent, but if there's one thing in the report that people hang on to, then they'll hang on to that one thing and it'll just crash it.
But actually, come to think of it, that dip happened after market close yesterday, and earnings report didn't come out till today.
Yeah, I see. It didn't come out till today? Because it says here on TradingView it came out on the 20th. It doesn't say what time.
Thursday. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, so reported 7.709 billion. Estimate was 7.71 billion. Surprise! Yeah. The surprise was negative $373,000. A piss in the bucket for Netflix. It's just a buying opportunity. Is all it is. That's all this is. Big ass buying opportunity. You see my blue line on here? Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
That's that trend line. You see how well that thing got respected today?
That's wild.
Respected the hell out of it. And then it broke this 386, but it quickly came back up. And then it got right back on trend.
Shoot, did you see that Peloton dropped again too?
Well, Peloton's trash, so I understand. It's talking shit, but they dropped a couple days ago, didn't they? Or started dropping or whatever?
I think it was yesterday or day before. I don't know. All I know is that I was 1 minute I looked at it, and the next I was like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it broke from the story where they stopped production of treadmills and bikes.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Delisted.
Yeah. The irony was they just signed leases for new manufacturing facilities. So, yeah, they're in a pickle right now.
Yeah, I mean, you see what people did, though. They didn't care about the market today. They bought the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Buying opportunity. Now, for me, Peloton's a little overrated. I mean, especially with all these Chinese knockoffs that are out right now.
Yeah, even Costco carries a $500 model.
I've never personally seen a Peloton or rode on one or anything, but there's so many bikes out there with screens or places to stick your iPad now that. Anyway.
All right. Well, thanks, Dylan.
You bet. You bet.
4:30 comes early, so I'm up to bed.
Grab another spot right in here. Just threw that trend line in there, right there. Held it, came below it. You see why it picked back up and got resisted right there. It's because that trend line popped back above it. Buyers were hot and heavy. Whoop. Came over here, finally broke it. Sheesh. There's a nice trend line. It looks like setting up in here too. Kind of expected to kind of be right in there somewhere. Just a quick little eyeball, anyway.
Well, I'm a little late to the party, and then I got. It took me forever how to figure out how to get unmuted here.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry, I was just looking at how Peloton just retraced everything it ever did.
Well, I did figure out. I did figure out one thing that when you made earlier when you was talking about your trend lines on your vertical trend lines, I was so confused on when it would have like 4 or 5 touches and then it would break through and then it would make another trend line. I was so confused on how to read those when they would break through. I didn't realize that you just make another one and start recharting off that. I felt like such a dumbass once I realized that.
It all clicks.
That's a small click for me.
Keep looking, man. So. It's all it is. Keep looking at the charts. I'm telling you, if you stare at the charts every night before you go to bed instead of watching TV, you'll be far
I
ahead.
definitely have been. I wish we would. You need to get a little more committed and do this every night.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'll do it every night.
I'm just messing with you.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be live trading every day in the morning and stuff, but like US 30 and stuff. When I get into my office over there at the other house, I'm going to be trading all the time. And Prim wants me to live stream at night sometimes so we can trade US 30 together and everybody else can join us and stuff. And
right. Well, I'm definitely going to be in on that whenever y'all start doing that. I'm looking forward to it for sure. Because it seems like every time I get on here, I'm not getting any just revelations, but I'm getting small clicks here and there that eventually I think will add up to something.
I'm gonna mark just one spot here on the chart on Peloton, and if you look, there's 2 points, 2 months that kind of capped out right there, and I'll draw a box around it if my box will cooperate. Kind of right in there. I'll make it a little brighter. But I'm mainly looking at that spot because over here, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months ago, it basically found a support at that same level. And so if I go back, let me get rid of this box. And it's the only line I have on my chart. If I go back, let's say the 15-minute, and I want to find every time that it tickled that line. There's some spots here. And just kind of paid attention to how we could have traded it. And that big ass drop is scrunching my chart there. So, big resistance, short play right off of that. This died because it broke it. You got all this resistance in here, and then a big short play off of that. As soon as you see, hey, it's like, just give it up, guys. It's not getting over it, And then it finally got over it, and it moved higher. Here it got major resistance at it, and then it finally got over it and moved a little higher. Over here, busted through it. Let me get up a little closer there. Busted through it there, and it died. Didn't really play with it that day. Here's some more right here. Market opened, got a little resistance there, but the buyers finally got it over it, and it took off. Got over it, opened, basically on it or above it here, but quickly came back, tested it quite a bit of times, a couple hours at least, but then they finally broke it through, and it died. See if there's any more touches here. There's a couple more spots, and you just see the same thing over and over again. And it's just, you need to pay attention to where candles open and close, how many times does it test it, and then once it breaks through it, that's, let me turn on vision here at this time. We're probably on scalper 2, taking the super early entries like that. So I've been hanging out on scalper 1 here recently. It gives a little extra confirmation. You loading? Yeah, it's loading. Okay, so vision tells us to buy it when a bunch of buyers are coming in here and breaking it through that resistance. And it tells us to sell it when the sellers are selling it, trying to get it back underneath it. Tells us to sell it here as it gets rejected here in pre-market and dies when the market opened. But you don't, I don't pay attention to any news or anything, because for me, I do, that's a lie. I look at the news if it's about Tesla and I'm trading Tesla. If it's about what I'm trading it, but other than that, I look at what the SPY's doing. I look at what the Qs are doing. If they're looking weak and going down for the day, kind of like today and yesterday, well, then the whole market probably is too. But I like to keep it simple. I got all my lines on here. For here, I just drew one line just to show how just over and over and over. Somebody was asking earlier if I got to go back and draw my lines over and over again. I don't. If the price has been here before, it'll play on these same lines over and over again. All that resistance. Still, when it opened here and couldn't really hold above it, you just buy puts. When it breaks through there, you just buy puts. Almost guaranteed the vision had a sell signal there. Exactly, right on the candle as it breaks through that area of support and resistance. You can come down here, and it got a little below it here, but overall, the buyers kept it above. I'm sure we can get an entry there on scalper 2. Yeah, right there. As the buyers brought it back above that line and sent it into the after hours. By the way, this is scalper 2. It's good 80 to 90% of the time, really good entries and stuff. But if the market's choppy, nothing's gonna be good if the market's choppy. So, and that'll be in the next update for everybody. But here you see the market open, shot up to the line, couldn't get above it. They shot it right down for the day. Massive sell-off here at the open, and then once it got below that line, you knew what was happening then. Yeah, it's just all about them lines, man. Yeah, it's crazy that it just retraced everything that it did. Everything Peloton's gained, gone. And just by seeing this here, this thing's going lower. Somebody quote me, because I want to know here in a couple weeks, did it go lower than that? I'll just leave my line there. I guarantee it goes lower.
Oh yeah.
It's not advice though. Don't trade based off of that. I don't want to hear any crying. Anyway.
Peloton's chart and my chart look the exact same right now.
Oh, you mean in your trading account?
Yeah.
That SPY didn't work out too well, huh?
No, I completely wiped my account.
Yeah, that thing, everything's just dying.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask y'all if y'all had any advice for me, because I went from an all-time high of, I started with 500, got it to 1,000 something, and then made that trade on SPY, and was up $100 and messed up and held it. through the long weekend, and it just tanked.
How much was your account worth?
Just over 1,000, like 1,050 or something like that.
How much was the contract when you bought it?
Like 560 something, I think, or 530. I can't remember.
Now, if you had to go back, would you spend over half your account on one trade?
No, I wouldn't.
I don't. At the same time, I'm trading Tesla over here on a small account, so I can't speak too much. But do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, no, I screwed up big time. But the whole thing was, I was planning on getting out of it.
I feel
done
I've done that.
Done everything
100 times, man. I know exactly what you mean.
I would have answered yes to that question too, because I generally put 50 to 75% of my account into every trade, but I'm only I'm only trying to be in it for, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes tops, and I want to be out of it.
Same.
But yeah,
I
would
I was so confident. I was looking at it at the 4 hour. It looked great. And I went down to the 1 hour, or I can't even remember what I went to. It looked great. I'm like, all right, just fixing to bounce off this. Broke through VWAP, and I bought, and it went up, and I was up 20% on it in like a span of 20 minutes. And then market closed, and I'm like, well, shit. And then it was a 3-day weekend.
So I can't really tell you not to. I can tell you to trade with the correct size, according to your account. But I'm doing the same thing. But what keeps me going, and what's kept me from not blowing up any more accounts, is because of the stop. Like I don't physically place one in my broker because I hate getting wicked out. Just for it to continue going in the direction I thought. But
yeah,
I do take one of my
I should have definitely
my little yellow boxes, and I put it where. Okay, well, if it gets down here, below this next support, or here, or wherever, below VWAP, then, it's definitely going to not go in my favor, so I need to be out of it. And it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks when it hits
when I was looking at it on the 4 hour, because I placed the trade at it was 2:30 on Friday, I think. And it was up and up and up and up. Yeah, I'm looking at it, and then it just immediately gapped down at market open on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, that's why I do not hold anything overnight anymore, because of those pre-market gap ups or gap downs. Like, it is nothing. It's not even.
Yeah, so my account's at 380 now, something like that.
You said on a couple of buy far out expiries, so say you bought a March 18th expiry, how do you have the balls to hold on to that through all the market closes and stuff like that? Because I've thought of doing that, but I just can't.
Every time I bought a leap, yeah, every time I buy a leap, I don't hold it according to plan. I always sell that shit early. I ain't lying.
So there's no point in spending all that money on the option premium.
I mean, it's
not
safer.
Gonna hold it open, right?
It's safer, if they're, because it could take 3 or 4 days for it to really get going. It could just kind of chop around, kind of in the same area you bought it, like Netflix. It could just chop around there for a couple weeks until people are like, okay, well, the market's not going down anymore, so let's just buy the shit out of this Netflix and run it back up. So, I mean, to have that time...
It's so stressful to even think about it.
Absolutely. And on Netflix...
Five contracts, and then you see it's down, it's already down minus 500, and then you're like, can I hold it overnight? What if it freaking dips even more? I don't want to be wake up to minus 1,500. Fuck it.
Well, see, the whole reason... one of the main reasons I held was because every time I've gotten scared out of one and sold early, it's just turned around and flipped and went in the direction that it should have gone whenever I placed it. And I would have been green, would have been green. And then the one time I don't sell because I'm scared, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I think it's gonna flip. It doesn't flip, and it just freaking tanks my account.
So
whatever I do, it does the opposite. It seems.
When I do just like a 1 to 2, 3 day swing trade, what I'm looking at is, have you guys ever heard of a red to green or a green to red move? Sarah might have since she's a swing trader. So
I have not.
I'll kind of touch on this, but I'll just show you like a spot that's clear as day, not a tiny little doji candle. So a red to green would be like these two red candles. It's been red. So one of the tools in the like next update with Vision is that's why we're paying attention to like having lines already put on there for the previous days, high, low, open, close, is because when you put a line here at the previous day, open or close, and so if it goes, like obviously we're going down here, so we're looking for it to go up, so we want to see it kind of cross either the top of the body here on the red candle or the high. It can be either one. The high would obviously be the safest spot because the high point right there could be where it finds resistance and turn around, but this would be considered a red to green move. And so you could just take that little quick swing trade, either 1, 2 day, 3 day hold, whatever you want to do. Trying to sneeze, hang on.
Oh, dude, I'm just now getting over COVID, and that was the worst shit I think I've ever had.
Bless you.
It ain't fun.
No, I was throwing up blood.
Yeah.
I had COVID back in February, and I just lost my taste and smell while I had COVID, and would like for that week. It came back perfectly normal. Then 3 months later, all of a sudden, all food just tastes like total trash to me, and it's been 8 months now. I'm like living off protein shakes.
I've heard that there's certain things that just start to taste.
No, I didn't expect it to be. I didn't expect me to be bad on it at all.
Yeah.
Sure enough, I was. I don't think I got that Omicron or whatever. I guess I got the Delta.
Nice.
But I've been legit throwing up blood all week. I just ate today for the first time in 5 days.
Good Lord.
I'll go over this. I'll go over this spot real quick, and then I want to show you kind of the opposite. So this is like kind of when I swing trade something. Like I don't have my anxiety. Is just like sell the shit out of it right now. You're up. You're up 5%. Go.
No, I mean I was up 20%. I should have just sold immediately.
Preach.
I was up 20%.
Preach.
I thought it was going to go up. I thought it was going to move $5 more, and I didn't sell.
When this goes red to green, it's a good opportunity to look for a swing, and you see how down deep the fissure is here, just kind of using stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'll put a yellow line on the high of that candle, just so we can keep track of where it was. The date here is the 17th to the 20th, and I guarantee on the 20th here, it breaks above these two lines and probably tests both of them too. So we'll go to the 5 minute, and we said it was the 17th to the 20th. Wait, let me go back, because what month was that? Lost my spot. Okay, so we are December. Okay, so, and I guarantee if we went to the month and weekly and stuff, we could easily have we probably already have a line right there, but it was December 20th. December 17th to the 20th. December 17th till, I was right on it. December 17th. Wait, did that say 2020? Okay, we're right, we got her. Okay, 17th. Rejections. That's the highs, the close, the open, etc. So, yeah. I mean, I could see the test in here, but we'll drop down. Do we need to go down to 1 minute? Yeah, we can go down to 1 minute, just so we can see the test. Review. We're in December. Go back. 20th. Here we are, right here. Load chart, load. So it comes up to it. We're looking at it. We're watching it. Test it. You see all the tests for support right here. It even dips back below it, but they buy it back up, because as soon as it gets over this, it's now a red to green move, and so your entry should be right above one of these two lines, and it can be on the like I said, swing trade. I look at the 15 minute for the entry, but where we at? Right there. It's not a big, massive move, and definitely shouldn't try to look for those all the time because it's not going to happen. But 17th to the 20th shoots off, comes back. I don't even think it doesn't look like the 1 minute I just looked at, but this is it. And then it gaps up a little bit next day, gaps up again, and then starts to consolidate. So
I mean, heck, what would you even like recommend me trade now that I'm down to like $380?
Apple.
Apple.
I
mean, I could throw more money in it, but my whole thing was I was going to take. I started with 500. I said I'm not putting any more money in it until I get it figured out and get this. But I started with the 10K.
Yeah, Apple and AMD are just beautiful day traders, dude. Beautiful, except today. Today looked like shit, just everywhere. But
so there wasn't any news or anything that came out that like caused SPY just to tank like that.
Well, there was the Ukraine stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. Russia, Ukraine war.
Overall market already going down. You know, everybody knows like, hey, the news is lying their ass off. Inflation's real, and it's out of control. Like nobody's falling for that shit anymore, dude. But here, if you look for a reverse swing trade on this, since we are in a downtrend, you're kind of green to red, back the other way move. Let me delete these lines so we don't get confused here. Where you should look for an entry is right here at the break of that yellow line here, because that's kind of like the open and the low, you know, of that kind of last green candle. That's where I'd look for it anyway. But yeah, it doesn't always have to be in an uptrend or a downtrend for you to swing trade something. You just gotta know some levels, basically, and of course you could easily look for these green to red or red to green moves, because there's a lot of people that look for these, and so you're gonna have some backup.
And that same line was support if you look left.
Yeah, I'm sure.
One, two times right there, right? Just those two red candles just to the left.
Yep. Yeah, right there. Over here. Over here. Over here. Over here.
Resistance there.
Same thing here, you know, we're red here, and so we would look for it to get over this area. It didn't get over it till this big green candle right here. But as soon as we did get over it, a lot of buyers stepped in there with us on that red to green move, and a $53 run. What's up?
When he just said look left, like when you're setting your support and resistance, how far left do you typically look back to get those support and resistance lines?
There's never going to be a correct answer for that, because it's just as far back as you need to go for everything to make sense. You know, it's kind of like, how many touches do you need on a trend line? There's never correct. You got to have at least two, you know?
Right.
You got to have at least two, but like I said, I wouldn't consider this candle like a range that Netflix would typically trade. I would kind of just measure kind of one of these average size candles and say, okay, well, you know, in this, well, this is the month, so I'd look for it in a day since I'm day trading, but let's say it moves $20, you know, on a good day. I would see where price is here, and after I got all my main like key levels of support, resistance, you know, I come in here, I mark off all these areas of key, like you know, the levels you would normally look for anyway, you know what I mean? After I mark those off, now I'm going to look at the price, and I'm going to go $20 to the upside of that, and $20 to the downside of that, and that's where I like to kind of get all these really common areas of, you know, opens, lows, highs, closes, just all in those areas after I got my main lines, of course. And the main area is like this. Like if that's my main area and I was charting this for real, I would change that to a white, just, you know, so I know on the 5 minute or 15 minute, if it gets to a white line, that's a huge area. That's not just a open, low, close of a previous day on the monthly chart. That's a huge area of support or resistance. But then everything, in here, I'm going to mark up with a different color, because every one of these, where you see these red on the monthly especially, every area where you see these red candles or green candles stop is going to come into play if that chart gets there. And then the wick, where the wick stops and starts, okay, the low down here and the high up here, every one of those areas are going to come into play somewhere. It's either going to get it could be just a little bit of resistance, but it got the resistance there at that line, so I need to know about it.
All right, well, would you say that the further that you go left and make your lines, the more accurate it will be? Or is that
if you can get, the more touches, the better. If there's, like right here, if there was 20 other spots over here to the left that had some resistance or had some support, that just makes that area that much stronger.
Well, I know, Vision has started to do the support and resistance. About what the formula for that is, like how far back that goes.
It goes
to get those lines.
It goes back. I'd have to look to see exactly. I think it goes back to the last. Well, now we updated it, so now it looks back at the last 10 pivot points. So they could be looking back up to probably 50 candles or so. So it looks at those common pivot points, which those same pivot points, if you marked them on the chart and looked back, however far you needed to, they would come into play as other areas of support or resistance as well. But the Vision SNR, let me go down to like a 3-minute chart and add it. To keep it from spamming your chart with a million lines that just stay there, we have it kind of just move along with the day and delete lines that it isn't really playing right now, if that makes sense. Like here in pre-market, it probably had a line right here that you see came into play later on in the day. In fact, we can just hit the replay and watch it and see.
That's exactly what I've been doing too, because if I get too many lines on my chart, then if I try to flip back and look at the daily or the weekly chart, there's so many lines crunched into such a small space, I can't even see the candles.
Yeah.
But I want to still be able to see my trend lines, so if I hit the button to hide drawings, it hides my trend lines and everything. So
you see Vision has these lines here.
Deleting the support and resistance lines that are not really in play anymore. That way it's not so jumbled.
Yeah, let me turn off the price line so we don't confuse that with the SNR line. You see that Vision has these lines here. But as time progresses and the day goes on, in order to keep the chart from just having a bunch of lines spammed on the chart from Vision, then it pisses you off. We have to make it kind of delete so many lines back and put a new one somewhere. I'll just speed this up a little bit. And so that's why you see them move around and disappear. And see, there's that line right here that I was talking about. That I'm sure there was one at 406. But yeah, I guarantee that 406, if we marked it there, and then, let's just mark 406.
Well, I seen where you was wanting suggestions for stuff for Vision. So you don't think we could put something on Vision where you could go back, say, like mark it for like the last year and do support and resistance lines like that?
Well, it depends on what time frame you're on, because if you're on a time frame like this, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, your chart's just you ain't even gonna be able to see the candles anymore.
Right. Well, I just mean on like, I don't know. I don't think you'd even want to do the monthly for a year. That wouldn't.
Well, the monthly.
Just some way to kind of set it in there on a time frame. I think would work out.
Yeah, I guess it's like the video you did, Dylan, a couple weeks ago, where the first thing you did, I guess, was for like the last month or so, you started marking. No, it was a couple months where you started marking the highs and lows, the wicks highs and lows, and then started drilling down.
Yeah.
I think it would be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, we can make, like a quick little script that does that for you, but that's only meant for like the monthly chart. Because if you went and put that on like a 5-minute, then it's just gonna spam the shit out of it. Like, okay, we'll go $20 north, $20 south, or maybe the user puts in the value, so you could be like $5 north, $5 south, and then it marks.
That's
all
what I
the
was saying.
highs,
If you
lows.
could, the user could just kind of formulate it himself. Have like a couple of options on there. Go back, say 6 months, put it on a 4-hour for, say, even 3 months at 4 hours or something. I think that might work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we'll after we get through with this update, we'll see. But if you turn on the SNR here, let me hide my line that I already have on there at that 406 level. That I was like, I guarantee it comes into play. If we marked it, it sure does. But let me turn on the SNR just right now. If you look at it right here, look at the levels that it gives us on the monthly here. And so you can use the SNR, and since the update that we put on it, we can even add up to 10 lines. And a lot of them are hanging out down here, but I ain't gonna do that every time. But I mean, the lines that it gives us right here, that's huge. That's like main area, the main areas that we want. And we can even hit the replay right here and see what the SNR would give us. And the same thing. Let's see. Curious if it moves around any. It's gonna stick.
So I'll say something about that. One thing that I noticed was, say you're on the monthly and you put the Vision SNR on, it'll put its lines where it wants on the monthly, and then if you switch to the 5-minute,
they'll be in different places.
They'll be in different places. So what I did to practice seeing where to put the support and resistance lines better was use Vision SNR and turn it on, and then I'd mark off the lines on the monthly, and then shut it off, and then switch to the weekly, turn it back on, mark off the lines it's showing me on the weekly, shut that off, and then when I go to the 5-minute chart, all those lines from the weekly and the monthly are already there.
Yep.
And I didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, those are your main levels too,
So to that guy that was just asking,
I think I'm going to have to go back and rewatch this to understand what you just said.
Well, yeah, if you're if you're having trouble like spotting where he's marking these, that's a good way to practice. Use the Vision SNR on the
monthly right here,
the monthly and the weekly,
and then
just copy it, and then shut off the Vision, and then switch to your 5-minute to day trade or whatever.
Yeah, he's saying, so I got the SNR. These are the SNR lines that Vision's given me. So if I come here and I put a line exactly where it has it, and I can see why it has a line there, then I'm going to go to the weekly, and I'm just going to copy these lines that it has here.
My internet or something was breaking up pretty bad.
I did that for a couple days, and I didn't need to use the Vision SNR anymore. I already see it.
Yeah.
Without using it. It's just a good way to practice.
You're saying put it on like the monthly, and then just copy the lines.
Yep.
And then switch your time. You're just saying switch your time frames throughout Vision and copy the lines on there and switch to different times, right?
Yep.
Well, I really only did it on the monthly and the weekly. And then that way, those lines would stay there when I switched to the 5-minute. And then those are the key levels. Then it shows me the key levels. Because if I put Vision SNR on the 5-minute, it's not going to show me those key levels from the monthly and the weekly.
Yep, you can even go to the daily, slap them on there.
I hope that helps. It helped me a lot.
You can even go down to the daily just to get those extra main zones that it has in there. Copy them. They're good swing areas. Gosh damn. Netflix was in a good range too. Damn. I should have been trading this thing. This range that I had right here. It's a great range. Trade back and forth.
I guess, Dylan, if there would be a way to incorporate that as a parameter and label it on the right, just like you do manually, where this is my monthly, this is my daily, this is my weekly. When you look at it on the 5-minute chart, would be like icing on the cake.
You can do that. You just put your line, double click the line, and where it says text, you can say, okay, this is on the daily chart. I like to keep mine to the top right of my line.
Yeah, I apply it with a template. I agree. No, but I'm just saying if Vision could do that in the form of.
I mean,
can y'all repeat what he said? It broke up so bad I couldn't understand what he said.
If Vision could label the line like it's from, like Vision told you it's from the monthly or the weekly. The problem with that is that it's trying to pull data from a different time frame and bring it over on another time frame, and so TradingView doesn't like that.
I see.
We're
Don't
very
you usually
restricted.
Just color yours different or something?
Yeah, I color mine different or just label them.
Or make them different thicknesses too.
Yeah.
You can do thickness 1, thickness 2.
Yeah, whatever you need to remember it, and then I'd write it on a sticky note and put it on your computer screen or whatever until you just know that, hey, my big fat red lines are monthlies, you know.
Until it clicks, huh?
Yep. And then, like, the SNR won't really work for, you know, if it labeled it here, because it's kind of interactive to whatever time frame chart that you're on. So right here it's giving you levels that it sees, you know, here recently on the daily. But if we go to the 5-minute, it's going to give us levels that it sees recently on the 5-minute. But anyway, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I'm going to jump off here and probably go eat something.
That's a late night snack.
Well, I ain't really ate anything yet. And I need to upload this video to YouTube.
Well, this is true.
Oh, damn, we're already over 2 hours. It's going to take forever. Whoops. Alright, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I might jump on here tomorrow night. No problem, man.
Thank you, Dan.
As always.
No problem, guys. Yeah, if anybody has, if enough people.
Thank you. Good night.
You bet. If enough people jump on here tomorrow and want me to get on here so we can chat some more tomorrow night, just let me know.
Sounds good to me.
Hey, y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you guys for joining.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.